Special episode of the Ben and Harry podcast, and we are joined by a very special guest. We've only had a couple of guests in the history of this show.
I was saying to Doc yesterday at training that I think our last guest was my dog Bunny. So
Yes.
it's a fair privilege for Doc to follow in the footsteps.
Andy Lee, your dog, and then me.
Yeah, I think that's right. Actually,
Tracy
we had
Mackay
Mum
as well.
We had Tracy, yeah.
The mum as well. So as Ben pours us waters, please welcome Sam Docherty. Welcome to the show, mate. It's a pleasure to have you.
No, thanks for having me on. It was a nice message received last week from H. I am often the pilot episode for a lot of my friends when they need a guest. I tend to have a lot of friends that are podcasters, but they tend to get me on within the first few to just test out the waters of how to have a guest on. So
true. Well,
It's a credit
Who
to
could we
you.
get?
Yeah.
I think Doc would be good.
well, actually, it works well for me because it's a big week for me. So I'm happy to come on and be on here. So
Of course. So,
You're going to roll through his CV?
well, of course, 2020 All-Australian, where everyone knows the quality of player that we're talking about. 2 ACLs onto your third, so not many players in the comp have faced as much adversity as you have, Sam, in your AFL career. And then last year, you were the recipient of the Jim Steins Community Leadership Award at the Brownlow Medal for your work in men's health issues. And this Friday night, Collingwood-Carlton, the Peter Mack Cup, the longest-running charity match in the competition. And you'll be a big part of the night, as we understand. And we're encouraging everyone who's going to get there at 7:35 p.m. ahead of the bounce. Yeah. Can you run us through what some of that might entail just before we get into the chat with you?
yeah, well, it's been a bit of a dream of mine since going through my cancer journey to build the Peter Mack sort of brand a bit more. I'm a director on the foundation for Peter Mack, and part of my role there has been trying to revamp what we thought was sort of the cup has been great. It's been long standing, but it sort of was losing a bit of space in where it's all at. So. I was sort of set the task to try and build it up, and part of that is the game day experience. And I'm very excited. I won't give too much.
Can you give us anything?
Well, I can give you that. One, be in your seat by 7:35.
So the game starts at 7:40, is that right?
Yeah, yep.
That's right.
So just before the bounce, there's going to be a really special moment to honour those who have been lost or are battling cancer. And
Awesome.
it's designed, in my mind, was designed around Collingwood-Carlton. You couldn't find two, probably Essendon's up there, but two supporter bases that hate each other more. And I think it's a pretty significant moment to be able to put that all aside and take a stand against cancer, and to have that happen, and with those two fan bases. And I'm really excited to see how it all spits out, and whether my vision comes to life. But I think it will, and we've had some really good stuff happen behind the scenes. So I'm excited to see what it looks like.
Do we have a role as players? Are we doing something?
No, you just stand there and walk to your position, mate. And
All right.
Try and get a kick. Business as usual.
no, it's just before the bounce. So it's that minute 20, minute 30 before the bounce.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
That's
Can't wait.
great. Yeah, nice. We'll cover the
we'll
Peter
get
Mack
back to
Cup in more detail a bit later on, because Ben wanted to take the new ball.
I'm not sure if you've listened to the podcast, Doc. Probably not.
We didn't think you would.
We said we probably haven't.
I listened to a couple of the episodes earlier because there was a lot of my Instagram feed was getting stuck with your two heads bickering. So I listened to it a little bit early, but I have dropped off.
That's all right. We don't blame you.
We thought you might have.
We normally do a segment called Harry's Hot Seat.
Oh, we don't know. Not
Well,
anymore.
sometimes. We
used
do.
to.
We used to.
Like you, it's dropped off.
That's true.
It started strong.
Where Harry would ask predominantly me a question, blah, blah, blah. So I thought I'd do Ben's Hot Seat, where I'm asking you a couple of questions, mate. So we've got a
Do you
bit
want
of
to
a promo.
Ben's Hot Seat.
Obviously. So they're going to be quick fire, mate. So just whatever pops to mind. First one's relevant. Extra time in home and away games?
No.
No. Okay.
Staunchly no.
Agreed.
Yeah, the game's long enough, the season's long enough.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, actually, so you're saying no extra time?
Yeah, no extra time.
Oh.
What do you reckon no means?
No, sorry. Yeah.
When he asked me, do I want extra time, I'm saying
I don't
no.
know what I heard there. I'm sorry.
I think that there's enough footy being played during the year that in the end, in finals, I'm 100% yes though.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if that changes,
Okay.
Day, twilight, or night grand final?
day.
Yep, I agree.
Okay.
Favourite teammate across your whole career?
Oh,
I idolised Cade Simpson growing up, so
Nice.
and probably played my best footy with him next to me, so I'll definitely say him.
Like that. Your coffee order?
Strong skinny latte.
Same. Love that.
He always makes me get one when I pick him up.
Any superstitions you might have?
No, I don't. I don't touch the banner, but I wouldn't say it's a stupid superstition. It's more
Right.
just something to think about on the way out. But
Okay.
whether you call that superstition or not,
What
but
if you touch the banner? Would you rattle you
No.
a little bit?
no, not at all, to be honest.
I used to be like that.
The best country you've visited or been to?
Italy.
Agreed. Yeah, we went to Italy in the off season. Loved it. Where'd you go?
Your sister's wedding?
Yeah, correct. Where'd you go?
We went Rome, Tuscany, then went through the Amalfi Coast.
Lovely.
Met up with Weeders and
Yeah.
That's right.
went on a boat with Weeders and one of our
Brent as well.
one of our analysts as well. So.
Nice. Last one, mate. Give us one word to describe Harry's fashion sense at the club.
Improved.
Oh, that's a good
That's
answer.
actually a
we
compliment.
actually we had there was an argument between Harry and Matt Kennedy at the club the other day, which I walked in on the end, and I was actually on Harry's side.
Did you
with
vote for
this.
me? Yeah.
I did vote for Harry, which
So
is
we-
very rare for me, to be honest.
We did a bet, me and Matt Kennedy bet. We said, rock into the club tomorrow wearing like a solid kit, like not your absolute best kit, but just like a really solid kit, and we'll get for a couple of boys to vote for it, and whoever wins owes the other one lunch because we always get lunch on Friday before the game. And I think it was just meant to be Cots that was going to vote, but he was off our space, so we got like the whole locker room to vote. And you might have been the deciding vote, I reckon. At the end.
Wow.
Wow.
He actually his kit was alright. Yeah.
What was it?
And you got up.
It was these brown sort of baggy pants.
Yeah, they were
some
nice.
He's into his baggy pants at the moment.
cream shoes and
Yep.
a white t-shirt.
Good memory, mate. You did.
Yeah.
Must have
That's
still
good,
stood
that's
out for you.
He
There
didn't
you go.
throw his vote away. He was really
Very
analysing.
thoughtful. Thanks.
Bang, good work, mate.
We wanted
Thanks, Ben.
to touch on the four walls at Carlton. So some of your early memories of Harry rolling in. So you moved over from the Lions in 2013.
Yep.
And then 15 was your first year. How
Yes,
was that?
end of 15.
End of
So
15. So yeah,
Drafted 2015, yeah.
that's right. So start of 16. So what was the first impressions of a young Harry Mackay? Harry Mackay
Keep
walking
going.
in?
Please be honest.
Many different places.
Be nice, please.
No, Harry worked really hard. Sometimes to my annoyance on the wrong things, but he's to be fair, he hasn't really changed a hell of a lot since he walked in the door. He was very dry in his humour, very diligent in what he did. Somewhat didn't know what to do, but was whacking away at some stuff by himself. I do have a story that
There you go.
I don't know if he definitely won't want this told, but
Oh, he'll love it.
Please do it.
he,
I don't have a choice.
he lived with Michael Jamison. And
no.
did you live with Whitey?
Yeah.
You lived with
And
Whitey,
Jesse lived
and
with-
Jesse Glass-McCasker lived with Michael Jamison. And I don't know exactly how it happened, but there was a lift situation back to, they lived near each other, a lift situation back to their house, and Jesse jumped in the front seat. And Harry walked in and goes, "Mate, you're a rookie, get in the back."
Jeez. That doesn't
Oh,
surprise me.
That's not true at all, I'm pretty sure. The amount of things
You're pretty sure.
that year,
It's definitely happened.
you know what footy clubs are like. I wouldn't, no. The amount of things that in that first, you know what footy clubs are like. Like you have one inkling of like something said and it just grows like wildfire.
Yeah,
and all of
yeah.
a sudden like you can make anything up and be like, "Oh, I heard you said that," and then it would just go. But to my knowledge, that was not correct, Sam. But
I wasn't there, but that's
Well,
what I was
that
told.
doesn't surprise me.
What happened then?
That's your thought.
You can clear the air right now.
No, nothing. That would have
So it's
just been
completely
made
made up.
Nothing
Completely
happened.
fabricated.
Yeah, probably.
It could have been.
There was a
mate.
lot of things.
It did
made
sound like what Harry
fabricated.
would have said
Correct.
though, at the
Yeah,
time.
that's a good
so-
point, Doc.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that, but
And still to this day, you'd say something like that.
no, I wouldn't say that.
You
Love the rookies, mate.
There's a hierarchy, though. Do you stand by it?
No, there's no hierarchy. What about vice versa? I remember,
Here we go.
yeah. Well,
Only good things here.
as a young kid, obviously it's all a bit of a blur, but I remember Doc was you were very, obviously one of the leaders of the club, but you were very grumpy, I reckon, back in the day.
Oh.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. No, I've
Now
definitely
you've
lightened up.
Yeah, mellowed out for sure. I know you've talked about that as well, but yeah, you were, I think we really lacked kind of someone who would say it as it is,
Mm.
and Doc was definitely that person. And then I reckon by the end you were just nearly so frustrated that no one else like saw things the way he did or had the courage to be really honest with feedback and stuff, and you nearly
Yeah, I did. That was a big part of my leadership development, was understanding that there are many different characters and different personalities in a locker room. And I used to get very frustrated. There was like the standards that I wanted to live and I wanted to see. If someone wasn't meeting them, I would get really frustrated and angry and then just harp on about that. And it's taken me a long time to be able to realize, to be able to get those standards up. Sometimes there's many different levers you can pull. So I guess early in the career when I was younger and less experienced as a leader, I would probably just try and do the same thing over and over again and just keep whacking away at it until someone listened. But I would definitely approach that very differently these days. I still do have the.
Yeah.
I
but
do
yeah.
give feedback very bluntly, and
Yeah.
I won't apologise for that. But that's been part of my evolution of a leader, is to change the ways I give feedback.
When I say grumpy, that wasn't the main trait. You were obviously very.
We say
friendly
we say Weeders is grumpy, and Weeders is not grumpy all the time, but
most of the time.
He is.
Yeah. I also remember you were quite annoying. You'd always used to.
Grumpy and annoying.
You and was it Zach too? If you ever got a new pair of boots, right? Doc would be, can I look at your boots, mate? And get him and just throw them across the side of the room.
That's good gear.
To be fair, I haven't lost any of my annoying.
No, you
to be
haven't,
honest,
but
so
maybe
that's all.
Yeah.
I've actually been very when everyone gets asked at the club who's the most annoying, I actually never come up.
Because everyone would just say Ed Kerno.
Yeah,
But now it's gone.
maybe I will get that mantelpiece. So.
Maybe. But yeah, first impression of Doc, always very kind with his time. Everyone loves Doc, and as his journey's progressed, he's only shown more of his character, and the love and respect has only grown. So
Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
I've enjoyed my time so far with you, Sam.
That's very nice of you.
Yeah, probably too nice. Now,
Enough of that.
I got sent this question, and obviously I'm going to know about it, but I'm interested to see how you answer it. Someone said, "What's with the Instagram posts saying I love this club on the story and then deleting them straight away afterwards? What can you tell us? Because a few boys have done that, me included."
I've actually had a lot of fans ask me, why do I keep posting these photos? For those that don't know, occasionally for about 5 minutes in the middle of the day, if you're really searching for some content, I do a lot of rehab with Jack Silvani, and he's decided that if I leave my phone open with my rehab program on it, that is just a welcome thing to be able to go into my Instagram, post a photo of me saying like, love this club, or like, keep grinding. But it's not only Sauce, it's Cots has jumped on it as well. And it's now not discriminating to just me. There's been, like, Sam Durden got done the other day. I heard that Raz got done the other day and really wasn't happy about it.
I did hear that.
So,
as well. It was filthy, yeah.
That's a really good prank.
But they don't tell you, and then they'll all walk up to you mid gym session, and be
Start giggling.
you love this club, don't you? And you're like, oh.
Again?
I genuinely got done 5 times in 3 days.
You just love the club so much.
Yeah, but they haven't got me for a bit. I've started hiding my phone in the gym now. So
Yeah.
Don't you guys have iPads that you use?
yeah, but when you're in, I'm in the gym at the moment for like 3.5 hours. So I like to have my own time and take my phone to different spots in the gym. But yeah, we do have iPads. That probably would solve the problem. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Your schedule's different to ours anyway, I reckon.
Yeah, well, I see every weights group come through, so it
Yeah.
really could be any of his.
Your third ACL, how does that differ each time? Because obviously you've got new people that are in the rehab group with you each time. Has it been, I don't know, more difficult? Has it been easier
Sorry,
each
mate.
time?
Is
you've
it
done
your same knee, or is it two?
So I've done
both?
2 on my left. This is
Yeah.
my first on my right.
Right. Okay.
Well, this one's been, it's been somewhat, it's going to be a weird statement. It's been somewhat enjoyable having Sauce there with me. It's, like, rehab sucks at the best of times, but like Harry would say the same, that Sauce is a very, very humorous guy, and to have someone in rehab making it fun the whole time is really enjoyable to be able to, like, we like the boys take the piss out. We're in the gym for legitimately like 3 to 4 hours in the day, and just every group just sort of rolls through, and to have someone like taking the piss out of our poor rehab physio, Will cops the brunt of it, but just to have someone that's making it enjoyable has been like a really good point of this year. The other 2 I sort of was by myself for a lot of it, and but it's they suck either way, to be honest. But it's been this one's been enjoyable to have someone doing the whole process. It's just a very tedious process that we're both making our way through now.
So I'm not sure if you've spoken about this, but when you did it, I'm pretty sure, from what I can remember, the vibe in the chat after the game was a little bit sore. If it was a grand final, I could have played on. It wasn't horrendous. Hopefully, it's only like a little meniscus or cartilage thing. How surprised were you when you got that scan, or deep down, did you reckon something was a bit off?
Well, of the night, like it felt a lot like I did my meniscus last year, and it felt a lot like my meniscus. So, and was giving me the same pain, the same sort of symptoms from that, and I was able to play a whole quarter on it. So in my mind, I was sort of like, I feel like you can't play a quarter of footy on a torn ACL.
Yeah.
Realistically, if it was a granny, I pulled the pin at halftime. I just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
If it was a granny, I don't think I would have pulled the pin, so I would have probably played the back half of the game. But it was probably when I when the game settled, I'm assuming when the adrenaline had worn off, and on my way home, it started to feel like pretty unstable, and I was like, oh, I'm not 100% sure, but I'd sort of talked myself into that it was a meniscus. Turns out it was meniscus and ACL, so it wasn't as if I was wrong, but there were underlying signs of like when I was flying home, and then when I got in my car and drove to to get my scan, it's just like it just didn't feel stable. It didn't feel right. But on the night we did all the tests and everything, and it felt like solid as a rock.
Yeah.
The only thing I couldn't really do when I was playing was like slow down, was like tough, and then like if I had to really jam the brakes on and turn around. But like that, they're hard things to do when you've got a meniscus as well. So it was like I was just trucking along. It was a strange one. My gut on the day that I got my scan was not. I just felt like I was in trouble. So, but I still was surprised.
So out in the ground, changing direction was fine to a degree.
Well, anything that was like quite sharp was hard, but like
But doable. Yeah,
doable.
Sort of, yeah.
Anything that was just like a sort of a speed cut was fine.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was rare. Like, and even like we've watched the vision of it like 10, 15, 20 times, but it's not your prototypical way of doing an ACL. It's sort of like my foot doesn't really get stuck. I don't really get in any of the sort of looks like we get in any of the angles that really puts myself at risk. And then my body sort of twists, but then I twist it back, which potentially has created like a bit of a corkscrew. Like we're just not 100% sure how that mechanic ended up my knee going, and then be able to play on it and everything. It just doesn't whole make. But there's a lot of things since my cancer journey that don't make sense. So I've just sort of take them as they come.
So then last one on the ACL, is there any, like in terms of, obviously it's historically a 10 to 12 month recovery, are we trying to push the envelope a little bit? Knowing you, that's obviously yes, but is there any update in terms of how it's tracking so far, and if you're ticking a few boxes early?
Oh, it's tracking really well. They're generally 12-month in. Just like injuries, it'd be something miraculous to be able to go outside that. So I'm really happy with where it sits at the moment. Like I've been able to progress through the early stages of rehab really well. I'm having a little bit of trouble with a little bit of swelling at the moment, which I don't swell very much, but the little bit that won't disappear at the moment. But like everything's going in the right direction at the moment, and at the moment it's sort of we're just progressing through the stages, and as they go, as they tick off, and then we'll see where that lands us.
Yeah. From a footy point of view, mate. So 2020 was your first one, is that right, or second one?
Earlier.
18 and 20 I've got here.
Was it 2020?
2018. I came back in 2020
Okay.
after my second one.
Point I'm trying to make was that, so you're on the bench now at the moment from a footy point of view, doing some coaching or whatever on the bench. What are the differences you've noticed, say 2020 to now, from a footy point of view and a club point of view, under Vossi, under compared
Would
to
have been early. So you would have been on the bench in 2019, I reckon.
Sorry? Yeah, I was on the bench last time under Bolts.
Bolts, yeah.
So 29.
I don't even know.
It was 2019, yeah, I remember.
Somewhere.
Well, whatever it was,
the difference between
comparisons,
the club in general.
Things you notice on game day that the boys are doing.
I could probably the best way to explain is that the group that we have now is just very diligent in what our roles are, and there's very specific parts of our game that guys play. And I would say the step of why we're getting a lot better is guys really understand what that is and are able to complete their role to a really high level. Like you take a guy like, I know he gets, as much as everyone says he doesn't get any fanfare, Matty Cottrell gets as much fanfare as anyone else in the footy
He's hammed
club.
it up so much, that comment about no one comes to watch me at the footy.
But like he's your example, and you would have guys at your club that play a role that's really important to your team system, and your team system in terms of being able to run the right patterns to be able to help out Harry so he doesn't have a +1 against him, but then get back to be able to help out Weeders in the back line and all the running that goes in between that, plus being able to then have offensive impact. So someone like him he's so good at what he does that is so important to us. You've got small forwards like Lockie Fogarty's coming to our team, and his ability to put tackle pressure on, even in our midfield. Our midfield makeup is so different. Even like myself, I went in there for a specific purpose. Yeah. I wasn't just going there to play like Cripper. Cripper plays his way, and he does what he does, and his role is very specific to make him be the best player. And then my role was to go in there and be the best at what I do, but that offsets the way that he plays and covers his deficiencies and makes him shine. So our team is built up like that, and guys understand their value and their worth, and that's what I would say has been the biggest shift from when we were back in sort of the Bolts and Teague days to now is the understanding of who we are of a footy club and what your role is and what you do to make us a great team is the part that is clicking at the moment.
Yeah.
I reckon you put it well. You said it this morning actually at the brekkie, but I think sometimes players to player feedback, we nearly speak a different language to each other. So your ability to, I know we've talked about in the past, but nearly filter what was coming down from the box and just being able to chat to one of us on the bench. I know we really like it, but that must be enjoyable for you as well and help with the messaging, I reckon.
Yeah,
player
it
to
does.
player.
Yeah, it does. It's a bit like, I probably said this morning as well, but like the bench role's a great role, but when you're in rehab, it puts you really close to the edge of you realise you're not out there,
Yeah.
and like that's the tough part about it. But it does give you connection to the group. It gives you a sense of it's not that you don't, but like the club doesn't make you feel like you don't belong, but it gives you that sense of belonging back on game day, which is a really fun part. It also, for me, as a senior player, it sort of gets a bit of an understanding about how different guys are playing, how their mindset is from where they're playing. I get to hear a lot of the feedback they get on game day, so how I can help them not only on game day but during the week about stuff that I've already seen during the week that I can talk to them. I've already had conversations with Walshy at the start of the week around some of his role that he played and being able to be out there and have that touch point, because during the week a lot of that time I'm spending on myself and on my own rehab and my own preparation and stuff like that. So you don't get to too many blokes reviews. So having that game day touch point's an important one. And as you said, like having someone that can speak your language and understand what you're going through out there sometimes is actually a really important thing.
Yeah,
And,
so true.
I do feel like it's very valued, and I'll do it for the rest of the year. Other than the away games, I'm not travelling. I can't be bothered doing that, to be honest.
But you've done so much of it now. It feels like you've almost become an assistant coach. This is just from the outside watching on TV and stuff. But do you have coaching aspirations? Is it something that you've now got a taste of and you would enjoy?
Funnily enough, no.
Right.
early in my career, I really wanted to coach, and probably the perspective of everything that's happened in my life, I do want to get away from the game after I finish. It's part to see whether I miss it, but part to get some other skills in life. There's a lot to life other than footy, and I'm sort of experiencing bits and pieces of that from being on the board at Peter Mac. That excites me about what's next, but it also, I get a lot of advice from guys that leave that they go, well, as soon as I left, all I wanted to get back, and you miss that competitive nature. So whether it's coaching or a GM, a footy role or whatnot, I'm not 100% sure. I've changed my mind 100 times on whether I'm doing what I'm doing post footy. So I do always give it a caveat of I do what I love right now, and it's hard to see past that to be able to find out what your next passion is until this one's taken away. So hopefully it's not for another few years, to be honest.
Yeah, if you're a GM at Carlton, I might be getting the flick, I reckon. You'd be pretty
First
ruthless.
move, Harry out. If it's anything like my NFL fantasy team, the boys are all gone.
Value.
It leads in well. We thought, obviously, knowing you and you see the game really well, we thought we'd say, probably maybe an open discussion, but if you were handed the keys to the AFL tomorrow, what would be the first thing you'd change or do towards the game?
I would change the umpiring to less cue-based decision making.
Okay.
Oh,
if that makes sense.
Can you, just to a layman, can you explain what that means?
So essentially, and you'll probably be able to see this on TV, but so say the holding the ball rule, if you fend off or put your arms in the air, that's a cue for the umpire to call holding the ball. So they take those so literally.
Right.
I'm not saying this is like a complete negative on the game. I don't enjoy that. You could lay a really good tackle, they drop the ball and they slightly swing their foot at it and they say, oh, he's made an attempt, it's all good. I just say that's dropping the ball. Whereas you could have the most finicky little hand up to try and put a fend on to break a tackle, and they'll call that holding the ball even if you've had no prior.
Or if you keep your arms down and you accept the tackle, that they deem that you can't get rid of it.
Well, even so, you're going further in that the tackle with the dangerous tackle. It's like if it's got that motion, then it'd be a free kick. The pushing in the back. If you extend your hands, they take the cue. In my opinion, they take the cues just way too literally. And I feel like we're losing a bit of a feel of the game. Even Harry's 50 on the weekend.
Yeah.
I understand that is like in the way that it's supposed to be umpired.
Even in the rule book, that was wrong, wasn't it?
No, it's not. But
really?
Well, because they've told you to stand. So because you're in the mark, and they said.
But I'm allowed to get out of that area.
Not if you've been told to stand, though.
But usually they give you a chance. Like if you straight away you look to get out.
You would have told,
I'm not.
I was moving out. Anyway,
it doesn't matter.
We're not here to talk about that, Sam.
But like for me, Cribbers on the mark. Does that one really matter? Like
I think from a visual point of view, when the players fans don't know what the free kick's for, that's the one you're just like,
Yeah.
it's almost impossible. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
But that would be I'd find a way to take it back to a little bit more feel of the game and a little bit away from so much cue-based coaching.
That's a really good answer. Do you acknowledge that it's the hardest sport to adjudicate on
It is
earth?
100% the hardest sport to adjudicate, and like I know a lot of the umpires, and they even say that.
Yeah.
and but they're doing the best that they can do with the parameters that they're given from the AFL, and they do it. I actually think they do a terrific job
Yeah.
with
I agree.
what they've got. The quest for black and white in the game, I think sometimes ruins it. Like our game's organised chaos. There's a lot of grey in it, and accepting that that's part of it, and just going on that journey and trying to do the best version of that is. But I feel like we just go searching for like that's even for the suspensions. That's a week. There's like there's a full grading. Like does that need to be there? I don't know. But
Yeah.
that's my opinion.
What would you do, Ben?
I don't know.
This could be anything.
I don't know.
Your coach was big on the sub rule this week.
Was he?
Yeah.
What did he say?
Scrapping the sub. Just
That's a good point. What do you recommend that, Doc?
Didn't he bring it in? though?
I'm not a massive fan of the sub.
The sub?
He reckons he didn't bring it in, Brad. He reckons he
Thought he might have.
was staunch against it.
I reckon if you did enough digging, you'd find some stuff from when he was at the AFL that he was
Yeah.
a pro sub.
Yeah.
I reckon you'd find it.
So you've had both experiences of the sub. The sub was what 2013, 14, 15, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
then it went away, and then you've
I don't like the sub. I would, to be fair, I'm a bit PTSD. I was sub 6 of my first 13 games.
Yeah,
Thanks,
there
to
you
Foss,
go.
thanks, Fossey.
What was that?
Oh, of course.
I don't love the sub. I do accept that when you go down the bench, it can be like if there's no sub, it can be hard. So if you put the fifth on there, that solves that problem. But then when you come to the bench, some of the boys will be off for 12 minutes at a time. With an interchange cap, you'll be like some of the younger, like some of the small forwards will be on for 11 minutes and then off for 12.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if that solves it either.
Mm.
But then if you drop the interchange cap, then guys that aren't great runners struggle.
Yeah.
Be good for me. Wouldn't be great for a lot of people, but
Yeah.
then you start to lose the power after. Like, these are the decisions you
Yeah,
make
and
with AFL.
So Collingwood Carlton this Friday night, enormous game, which is exciting in its own right. We're expecting 90 plus, I imagine.
They said today there's probably a good chance to be more than Anzac Day.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Which was 93.5 from memory.
That'd be
So
big. Be massive.
that's
Our home
enormous.
game as well. Just clocked over 100k members.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did start the week.
It's all happening. So
It's awesome. So the Peter Mac Cup, it's been going since 1993. The tally is 16 wins for Carlton and 12 for Collingwood. And so what's your involvement with the Peter Mac Cup and maybe just run through what Peter Mac does?
Yeah, well, my involvement started from when I was getting treated, and I wanted to give back to Peter Mac, and I met the CEO of the Peter Mac Foundation. So essentially, Peter Mac there's two parts. The Peter Mac, the hospital, which they've got their own board, and then there's Peter Mac Foundation, which is what I'm on the board for. And our role essentially is to raise funds that everything we raise, we tip back into Peter Mac, and Peter Mac's one of the world leading, not only cancer treatment facilities, but in terms of research, they have they're in the top, I think they said the top 12, I think they said today. I think they're 12th in the world.
Wow.
In terms of their research capabilities at the centre. So we fund, us along with the government, fund the researchers, essentially. So we're up to 750 research staff in terms of people in the labs and everything that goes like that. And then, so that's from funding programs from just the infancy. So the best new ideas that are coming through, being able to fund that to be able to move it forward, and the advancements that are being made in cancer research is pretty wild at the moment. There's been a big shift towards immunotherapy, which we learn about, like the boys all learn about this morning. Just new ways to treat cancer, and there's advancements in, you get blood test, they can get your cellular sort of genomes, I think it is. They can take bits and pieces out, genetically modify it, put it back in your blood, and then treat you that way. It's a far less invasive way to say your chemo's, which is what I had, is basically we're going to kill every cell that we can possibly kill, and then put you to rock bottom, and then build you back up to be able to do that again. So it's obviously every cancer treatment works on some cancers and then doesn't work on other cancers. Even testicular cancer has multiple ways to treat. So I've gone a long-winded way of explaining a lot of stuff here.
No,
But,
no, it's good. It's very
That's
interesting.
That's so my involvement is I'm on the board, so I'm part of basically deciding where that money goes and the governance that's in behind that. And part of my role is I have started to organise a lot of the like the Peter Mac Cup, obviously being at Carlton and having my involvement. It's our home game this year. It's been a really good process, and I'm very lucky to have a good team at Peter Mac in terms of the foundation. Very lucky that the club's been very helpful, and my management group, TLA, which is now TGI, they put one of their staff members basically to project manage the whole thing pro bono for me. So Cass is her name at TGI. She's done an unbelievable job in keeping it all on track and together. So very lucky to have a management group that genuinely cares for my interests and what I wanted to do. And she's been unbelievable in sort of steering the ship, so I didn't have to respond to every single email and everything that's gone. But between the brekkie this morning, we would raise, I'll get the numbers tomorrow, but we would have, I'm guessing, up to near 100 grand or over 100 grand already this week. So hopefully that will really grow in the back end of this week and on Friday night. And then obviously the moment pre-game is going to be really special in terms of back to the people and the families and everyone that's affected by cancer. I think the stats this morning, I'm probably going to spit more out here, but 1 in 2 people impacted will have a cancer diagnosis by the time they're at 85.
Wow.
That was amazing to hear. I didn't realise it was like that.
And we did it. They did a little exercise, just a straw poll in the breakfast. We had 370 people at the breakfast this morning, and it was basically put your hand up if someone very close to you or you have had a cancer diagnosis. And I think I would have said 95% of the room had their hand up. So just shows you where, like, as much as it's such a terrible disease, the work that Peter Mac does, it does a huge role in preventing and curing a lot of this stuff. As much as cancer rates are going up, survival rates are going up even faster. So it's a credit to everyone that's doing the work behind the scenes.
Yeah, bloody oath.
So Friday, the players are going to be wearing purple laces, the signature colour of Peter Mac. And Ampol's going to donate $1,000 to the centre for every goal Carlton kicks, Harry. So
No pressure. Kick straight.
And Harry just said to me off air that everyone that he misses, he's going to top that to 1,000
that's
as
right.
well.
Oh, good
Did
on
I
you,
say
Harry.
that? Yeah.
That's great of you, mate. And the Richard Pratt Medal, of course, awarded to the player who is judged best on ground. So 7:35 p.m. That's 5 minutes before the bounce. Everyone's encouraged to take their seat and enjoy the pre-game. Doc, we've received some.
Just before, just getting a bit serious, Doc. Are you able to share when you first had your cancer diagnosis, what it was like telling your teammates and vice versa, Harry, hearing that? I'm just really interested in how that whole process sort of unfolded. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know when Cunners had his, it was obviously emotional, but yeah, I would love to hear both your experiences, if that's all right.
Yeah, it's fine. So mine was I had my first testicular cancer. So I had my first operation in 2020, the back end of 2020. So then I came back, played, got injured during that year, and it was in the back end of that year that it had come back.
Yep.
And my second diagnosis was pretty grim. Like I was stage 4. So for everyone that's sitting at home, stage 1's just the testicle itself. Stage 2 is when it moves out into somewhere else, into outside of there. Stage 3 when it gets to your lymph nodes, and then stage 4 is when it ends up somewhere else in your body. So I essentially lit up like a Christmas tree on a scam all through my lungs and abdomen. So it had moved from my testicle to my lymph nodes and then just settled all through my guts essentially. But I from what I remember of the day, I can't say I've remember it too well, but I just came in at the start of the meeting and essentially just dropped a bomb on the group.
Yeah.
It's probably the best way to put it. I can't remember exactly what I said. I really struggled to speak. I really struggled to spit out what was going on, and then essentially walked out, left, and went home.
Yeah.
That's my recollection of it.
Yeah.
It's
I remember it well. We I reckon we played Gold Coast that week. So it was on the Monday, and we were sitting in our meeting for the review. And yeah, Doc, there must have been like a bit of an eerie feeling because in footy clubs, you just know when something's up.
Something's wrong. Yeah.
And Doc got up in front of the group and obviously, as you said, dropped the bomb a little bit about about his news, and yeah, it was really really hard to hear. And obviously, Doc, it was hard for you to speak and everything. But I think I remember you said, you know, footy's like it's not about footy anymore. It's about my life. Like it's like I'm fighting for my life. And I reckon when you said that, it was that was really hard to hear for everyone. And obviously you left straight after that, and then I remember we tried to carry on the meeting as normal, but it was just like the most airy, strange feeling. Like nothing really mattered anymore. And I can't remember what coach it was, but we went through all these defense clips. I reckon I had a couple that came up as well, so I remember that as well. But
No surprise.
but afterwards, it was basically like, we need to get this right, but there's bigger things at the moment that matter. So and everyone kind of walked out, and it was just one of those days that you'll never forget. Obviously not for great reasons, but obviously you can speak about it more, Doc. But I think everyone's probably closer, and the way the footy club probably supported you, but then what you did for us as well. I think the connections and relationships for that whole club is stronger from, obviously what you've been through and how you've been able to help support us, but then vice versa as well. So obviously it was a really hard time for yourself and your family, but getting through the other end of it and seeing the impact you've had on the community, and it's probably led to some amazing moments. My favourite moment in footy still is that goal you kicked in round one. Hopefully we win a flag one day, and hopefully that'll be up there, but still that'll be a moment we never forget, and to be able to be part of that was pretty special.
I look back now, and it was a really significant moment, like for the footy club, and it was the back end of when Tegi was like the internal review, and there was all sorts of crap happening at the footy club, really, and it has ended up being, because Tegi got sacked not too long after it, and then the boys did the Do It for Doc campaign where they all shaved their heads, and that moment for me was probably one of the biggest signifiers of, we had a choice at that probably point when another coach came in, whether the group would fracture and guys could go their own separate ways, and we knew they had the talent, but ultimately things just weren't working, and I felt like it could have gone either way, and that moment probably signified of where our group's gone since there, and we got an incredibly tight-knit group that are really driven to do something together, and probably have never been more selfless in our approach in the way we play and the way we act around the club. So part of it is probably drawn back to those moments, and sad part of my legacy that I might be leaving, but it's part of our journey that we've had at the footy club. And I actually wrote the boys a letter after it. I couldn't stand up in front of the group and pour my heart out. So I wrote a letter to all the boys and handed it out when we were just about to head away for a little camp together, and got up in front of the boys and basically said, like, I don't think you guys realised how important it was to me and how important it was to so many other people. And it's a pretty cool feather in all the boys' cap to have be part of raising $250K for cancer research, and the amount of people that moment touched in terms of their cancer, the people going through their cancer battle. Like I get emails and text messages and Instagram, everything from people that are going through their battles, and I get that and I see that, and I know that the impact that sort of I have, and then I don't think that the boys realise how big of impact they had on not only me but a lot of other people, and I wanted them to make sure that they knew what it meant to me and what it meant to everyone else.
Yeah. That's so good.
Well said, mate.
Yeah. Well done.
Yep.
We have some listener questions as well that they've been sent in for you, Doc.
Is Cots one there, or
It might be. I don't know.
We haven't heard these. So we'll start with this one from Jared.
Coast, this is just a question for Doc, actually. I want to know how the body's feeling, mate. Are you started moving it around yet? Have you got any drills, or is it too early to start doing that? Thanks, mate. Go the Blues.
We did touch on this a little bit earlier, but
is this? That was Jared, yes.
That was Jared.
Yeah.
No, I'm doing a lot in the gym at the moment. I'm sort of up to sort of a bit of early stage jumping and landing and whatnot, and getting into my running mechanics. Hopefully, run somewhere in the next 3 or 4 weeks. We'll see. But so I'm sort of building to that. A big sort of milestones. The next big milestone I would say is running. So heading that way.
And then how much running do you do before it's like you're willing to get into skills and then potentially contact? What is the kind of timeline?
Oh, it's just it's ages. To be
Ages.
honest. Yeah, because you got to go everything from breakdown phase through to then ultimately the end is contact. But you got to learn how to do everything again. You got to learn how to run the straight line. Then you got to learn how to get back up to speed again without tearing anything.
Yeah.
And you slow change of direction into a bit sharper change of direction into a bit more contest stuff. It takes a while.
Yeah.
Get off your phone, mate. We're trying
No,
to-
I've got it. There's
So
been a
rude.
question sent in from Cotters actually.
I was wondering, Ben just started giggling halfway through that.
He wants to know who's got more feathers between Doc and Harry.
That was the one that he showed me the other day. I actually did my hair coming in today.
I was going to say I look good.
Well, we used to always call each other feathers because we both didn't have a huge set of
Not
feathers.
not a great deal of feathers on the head, no.
But then obviously Doc went through his cancer stuff and through that, so I was a little bit. I didn't want to, use the term feathers for a while, but we're kind of back at feather stage now. So, yeah.
I do turn it around. I do turn my cancer stuff into
Yeah.
making people feel really bad sometimes. And if someone says to me, "I've got no hair," I do often reply with, "Well, I've had cancer, mate. Like, it's not my fault." And you've never
And they
seen
go
someone
white.
drop even
Yeah.
further.
That's great.
Oh,
Pick one though. Who's got the better feathers?
Well, Ben, you don't.
What?
It's more between you and Doc, I reckon, and probably Doc wins.
Fair enough.
Don't go awkward, mate.
No.
No, my hair's going at a rapid rate, to be honest. Unfortunately.
This is Chris.
Hey boys, Chris from Brisbane. BT mentioned on a broadcast that Sard and Fantasia needed to have their lockers next to each other. So just wondering who got the boot. Was it Doc or Ashton Moore?
How strange is that question?
What?
I didn't get it at all.
So, why?
BT must have said on the commentary or something.
I didn't hear
I think he said that. Was it Razio and Sard?
Raz.
One of them's moved lockers and permanently next to each other now.
No, that is just not right at
That's
all.
just false.
Yeah, that's
Completely false.
That's incorrect. That's definitely incorrect.
See what?
Unless Raz has just been habitating my locker when I wasn't there for a little bit.
No,
He
but
wouldn't have been
Sardi
his
would be
mindset.
habitating
Oh,
your
so-
locker.
Yeah, no, but he wouldn't do that.
No, he wouldn't, and neither would Raz. I don't know where that's come from. Just shows you can literally say anything.
Yeah.
People are boys.
It's like your Jesse Glass McCasker.
Correct. You just pull him out of a hat. Exactly right.
Go to the back. You're a rookie.
I can't believe you said that.
I didn't say that, mate. Relax.
I trust Doc more than you, so
Yeah.
I think if you're going to come to the end of the story, I think you got to get Jamo or Whitey on here, or maybe
That's a good point.
if they see this, they could then
Yeah.
send through what
Jesse
actually
would
happened.
probably be better ask. I can ask Jess.
Well, you could
You'll
ask
probably throw
Jesse.
me under the bus. as well.
No one's going to defend you. I can just tell you now.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much.
Yeah. Thanks, mate. It's
Doc.
been amazing.
Awesome chat. Great work. And hopefully this year will be the biggest we've ever seen of the 29th edition of the Peter Mac Cup. Make sure every fan gets down there nice and early so we can see the pre-match special that is planned. And I hope that we can all raise heaps of money.
That'd be great. Thanks for having me on, boys.
No worries, mate. Yeah. Well, yeah. Obviously, it was 7:35 in your seat, so get there a little bit early. Enjoy the pre-match and make sure everyone's seated before then because it's going to be pretty special. So
Nice.
go Blues. Thanks again,
Thanks,
Doc.
Doc.
Appreciate
Good
it,
man.
man.
No worries. Thank
Right,
you.
mate.